Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are, and welcome back to another wrestling video, actually. Another thing that I really wanted to talk about today, that I've wanted to talk about for a while now. Now, CM Punk, I really think that he is very overrated. Now, the reason why I say he is very overrated is because he he isn't that type of wrestler that I'm like, oh my god, he is the best wrestler in the world. And once when he said that, and his pipe bomb speech, he was like, "Yep, I'm the best wrestler in the world," and everyone was like, "Yes, he is the best wrestler in the world. He's so right." And a lot of people just jumped on his bandwagon because he's like. He's like, oh my God, he is the best wrestler in the world. He just tells the truth, and yeah, he is so right. You know, let me tell you something. If it was another guy that said the same thing, you would be saying the same thing. You know? I remember back in WCW where pipe bombs were a regular thing. Where every single week some guy would just come out and say, I'm tired of all the politics and stuff like that, and I'm just gonna leave this company. Yeah. Are you really gonna say that? Are you really gonna say that in front of the world? Because is that really what you feel? Or is it because you want the fans' sympathy? Because a lot of people just say that because they just want the fans' sympathy. They want people to oh my God, you're right. You can leave the company without saying all those things, but you want to make a buzz about yourself. That's the reason why you do that. Now, the pipe bomb was a work shoot, okay? WWE told him, here's a mic and go do what you do best and just, drop a pipe bomb. Now, let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. If it's not for his pipe bombs, would you care? If it's not for him, going out there and telling everybody that, what goes on in the back is this, this, and this. This guy got fired. This guy got this, and it's easy. It's easy to get over like that. I remember when he had a promo with Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash was, he talking to him, and CM Punk goes off and he's like, "Oh my God, the click is back! Yay!" Like anybody wants to see that again. And the fans cheered. The fans cheered for Kevin Nash. And whenever CM Punk talks smack about the click, everybody boos. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Wrestling marks are so behind CM Punk, and they're like, "Yeah, you're right. We hate Triple H. We hate this guy." But when people talk about DX or the Click, as much of horror stories that you would hear in shoot interviews or whatever, people still love them. And I believe deep down in those marks, heart of hearts, there's that little wrestling fan, that fanboy who goes off and says, "Oh my God, DX is back! Oh my God!" You know. I remember back in 2006 when DX came back and they reunited, and I was happy. I was happy. As much as I was like, "Oh my God, Triple H is burying this guy, burying this guy, burying this guy." But when DX came back, I was like, "Oh my God, DX came back." And I believe that if Evolution came back, if Ric Flair, Batista, Randy Orton, and Triple H were in that ring wearing suits and ties, and they were like, "Yep, Evolution is back," I believe everybody is just going to jump up and down and be like, "Oh my God, Evolution is back." If the Four Horsemen came back and the NWO came back, people are going to be jumping up and down and be like, "Oh my God, NWO came back and the Four Horsemen came back." No one is going to shit on it. Some guy like Brian Alvarez or, whatever shooters out there are going to be like, "Oh my God, they're back again for the upteenth time." Guess what? It sells tickets. Okay? And back to CM Punk. He's not the best wrestler in the world. Good God, he's not even the second best wrestler in the world. Okay? I've seen his matches. Most of his matches, he's had great matches, and I would honestly say that I am a fan of CM Punk. But he's not the best wrestler in the world. Most of his matches are sloppy. He's not like what he once was. He's not like Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels got better with age. CM Punk is not getting better with age. I remember his matches back in ROH, and he would put on amazing matches, amazing match after amazing match after amazing match. And even in his early days in ECW and WWE, on Raw and SmackDown, he's had great matches, but it all depended on those guys. I remember he had a match with Chris Jericho on SmackDown, and everybody just, were just dead silent. He had a match with John Morrison, Dolph Ziggler, and people were just like, whatever, we don't care. Nobody cared about CM Punk when he was on the Raw brand. That's why the title was off him. And nobody cared about him even when he was on SmackDown, because it was a B show. Nobody cared about CM Punk. Not until he joined the Nexus. They kind of cared, and then when he, then he dropped his pipe bomb, people started to care. CM Punk, I don't think he's the best wrestler in the world. I don't think even, I really, people just say that he's the best, and he's one of the best wrestlers that we've seen in the past 10 years or whatever. I don't think so. I really don't. He's a great character. And I really think that the match that he had with Rock, I really think that it would have fitted another character a lot better. Like if they built Daniel Bryan the way that they built up CM Punk, if they build up a guy like Randy Orton, I think Randy Orton would have been a much better suit to face The Rock. And I even think that Randy Orton is an even better wrestler than CM Punk. Another guy that Randy Orton, he's gotten better with age. Edge, gotten better with age. Christian, gotten better with age. All these guys that I just mentioned, gotten better. Guys like CM Punk. CM Punk, I feel he's like John Cena. He's like John Cena. John Cena, I remember when he used to deliver moves, really well, but then he started to do moves out of the box, do stuff like, the diving leg drop, the Hurricane Rana, started doing drop kicks and stuff like that. It just sucked. The way he did it, it didn't come off right. And that's the same way with CM Punk. CM Punk tries to do some stuff, tries to chain wrestle, doesn't come off well. Really doesn't. His matches with Chris Jericho, really overrated. Remember his match in WrestleMania, very overrated. His match with Chris Jericho on Raw and on recently on Payback, it wasn't that good. I really don't think it was that good. If it wasn't for the fans, it would have stunk up the place. If it was in any other place other than Chicago, it would have really been one of the worst matches you would see. I really think that it's one of those things with CM Punk. Now, who is the best wrestler in the world? I say Austin Aries. Yes. Better than Daniel Bryan. Austin Aries. Austin Aries is the guy. Austin Aries is one of those guys that if he was in WWE, I think WWE would do an awesome job with him. He's not one of those guys that would get buried. He's not a guy like James Storm or even Robert Roode. I think if those guys go to WWE, they would get pushed a bit, and then WWE would neglect them. Or even a guy like Alex Shelley or Chris Sabin or Evan Bourne, Kofi Kingston, all these guys. Austin Aries is the all-around package. He can talk the talk, he can walk the walk, he can have awesome matches, and he was always the match of the night. Back in 2012, 2011, he was always the guy who would steal the show. And even right now in 2013, he's always the guy who steals the show. He's always the guy that is like, oh my god, what is he gonna do next? Austin Aries is the guy. He is the better wrestler. He is the best in the world, and he is the best wrestler to ever be introduced into the wrestling business for the past 10 years. I think that the match that I would love to see if Shawn Michaels would ever come back is Austin Aries versus Shawn Michaels. I would love to see Austin Aries versus Stone Cold. Austin Aries versus anybody from WWE right now. Dolph Ziggler, Cody Rhodes, Christian, Randy Orton, all these guys. I think Austin Aries would put on awesome matches. CM Punk, I love you, but you're not number one. You're not even number 5. You're probably in top 10, but you're nowhere near top 5. So, there you go. There you go with that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, until then, I'm probably going to do another video soon. So, I'll wait for that.